Yeah, frustrated, sad with the outcome this morning. Really wanted to win for our seniors, wanted to win for kind of the extended Baylor family, the football family, to have a day in the sun. It's been too long since that was the case. And then wanted to win for our players, our team, just to kind of push through and persevere and fight through the obstacles and to kind of stay on the path and to not detour and to keep the faith. And very much wanted that for us. And so to not get it hurts and it stings. At the same time, just so proud. I mean, we had however many running backs down, and we were kind of down to it. Joseph Dotz was, personal tragedy in the morning, and so we were consoling him prior to it. Didn't know if he was even going to play, and so he's playing through it, just inspired to try to represent, and all of it. There's just so much that guys are carrying, and they sacrificed and gave of themselves for this team. So we're down a bunch there. We're down a bunch at safety and just you name it. And so to have guys continue to kind of step up and give to the team is way inspiring. I just think too many mistakes. There's a defensive example. There's some. We're making stops, and there's a long run. It was on their sideline, and it was some man coverage, and it was a quarter. Every week there's a new quarterback run that Houston does, and so this is theirs for us this week. And we don't adjust with it right. Safety's got to come down, get cracked, and corner would set the edge, and then we get the backers over, and that doesn't happen. And it's a touchdown, which is not good. We make the adjustment on the sideline. We make the adjustment again at halftime, and we see the same play, same call, same thing on third down, and it goes for another touchdown. It's really the difference in the game. And so you just can't win when it's that way. So I take responsibility for that. That had to be so much better. I think in the spite of those types of things happening, the guys are continuing to believe and continuing to push and continue to try to fight. I think in a lot of ways this game is reflective of the season that we just finished, and so tough to swallow, tough to look at. Take any questions you guys got.
Dave, obviously, no bowl game, off season starts now. What are the biggest priorities for y'all going into the off season, and what needs to change the most?
I think we have to really look at how we're going to build this team. There's a fair amount of movement with a big senior class leaving. I think we got to look at building this team from the inside out. I think in terms of money spent and portal and everything was a fair amount on skill positions, and kind of the rich got richer at certain spots. And I think it has to be more on line of scrimmage play and big people, and that's going to be our goal, is to be really effective in recruiting that way and developing a team that way.
Coach, I think you made it to the red zone 6 times today. You got 1 touchdown out of it. What were the struggles and why you couldn't kind of finish those drives and get touchdowns from the red zone?
Yes, I think a lot of credit goes to Houston. They've been that way throughout the season. They play their quarters coverage and their bracket coverage down there, and so they'll double guys based upon releases, and their front does a nice job of not allowing rush lanes for quarterbacks and stuff to kind of get loose. We got to execute better. I think we had, there was Sawyer there was a pass action this way and then a handoff here, and we decided to throw it, and if we ran it, I think he walks in. There's things that we've executed better in the past that we got to execute better then. And then I think some of it also was just in the moment, balls up in the air, come down with it. I think the personal foul or the DPI penalties. I think there was a point in the game where the explanation I got was that when our defense is defending versus their offense, we're not looking back for the ball, we're getting penalized, and that when it's vice versa, when it's our offense and their defense, they're not, that's not getting called because they're looking back for the ball. And so that's something I'd have to look at on tape. It's just very frustrating in critical moments. I think it was all kind of hitting us at the same time.
What would you say to the team when Caden was down, and can you update us on what you're hearing on him?
Yeah, he's getting movement up, upper body and lower body. So the tests are not done yet. I think it's positive right now with him. It's way scary, and the team. So many guys are so concerned, and so when I pulled him up, I told him that what the injury was. And then I said, hey, this is precautionary. They're going to take him in to look at him because they don't know. But his family's with him, and we're going to say a prayer for him. And so we all were able to do that. But I know that was heavy on the guys' hearts after that.
Dave, the way y'all came back, scoring 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and then you had the ball at the 13 with a minute to go. How confident were you, and how frustrating was that not getting in the end zone?
All of it, yeah. I think everyone on our sideline felt we were going to score and win. And, very, very frustrated at the end. I think, like I say, I think this game was kind of illustrative of our season. And, there's, I remember, and I told the team at halftime, I remember when Josh Cameron was a walk-on, and David Wetzel had found him, and he was walking Josh through this is when we were in Simpson, through the facility there, and there's just something about Josh. I know that he'd always be up wanting to meet and talk kind of, individual improvement, and you'd want to watch film. He was bugging coaches a lot. I mean, I think at first some of it was like, yeah, and this is Josh? Yeah, it's Josh, right? And then, when he got his chance on the field, Josh was like blocking and just putting people in the ground, and then all of a sudden it became, man, we need to play this guy. And it's just, and in all of it, like his ego never got big, and it's just when when you see a guy start and just humble and work hard, man, you just want everything for him. I remember Sawyer in a quarterback battle when he lost, he came second, and I was on the back end of the facility. We're in Simpson again, and I was going this way. We used to have like a glass kind of open space, like a player's lounge in there. I was going this way, and I saw Sawyer going that way. And this was the afternoon of the announcement that we're going with someone else. And there's guys walking through, and Sawyer put his eyes down. And he was embarrassed, that he lost. And so I remember catching him after that and going, bro, there's nothing, man, this is just the beginning for you, bro. And so just all of those things are just so, that's the stuff you remember, And it's like, man, these guys that have trusted you and want to, that, had opportunities to leave and would decide to stay. It's like, you want the best for them. Yeah, that's all the stuff I think of when it's stuff like this.
Coach, just some key pieces out today, Michael Trigg being one of them. What has he meant to this program, and then what was he dealing with today, and maybe what do you see for his future as he departs here?
Yeah, so Michael had like a head injury from this last game, and so Mike, like his playmaking ability, I think is unique, and I think it's a mismatch. He's a really good blocker for as athletic as he is, and he's a willing blocker. He loves football. He loves competing, and I think there's so many things with Mike where it's just, I think from school to school, when you move like that, it can kind of become like me versus them type thing. Me versus basically anybody that's an authority or that's maybe not your immediate family, maybe. And so there's a lot of work that it has to go in to earning trust and being real. You know, there's a balance that has to go with, man, these are our standards, and I recognize you, though, too. And so that's kind of that whole thing is the thing. And I'm thankful for Mike because he's tested and helped me and us in that way. And I just think he's going to have some opportunities here in the postseason and all of that for his career. And so we're excited for him and a fan of his.
Coach, with it being such an up and down season and the decision to retain you for next year, is there like a newfound motivation going into next year to improve this team?
Very much want to improve this team. I have to. This is just a horrible feeling. I'm just tired of this feeling. I'm just tired of it. And so there's a lot of work that needs to get done. And I think it starts with building the team inside out. And we're going to get right to it.
Dave, National Signing Day is Wednesday, and I know your class has kind of eroded a little bit even today.
Mm-hmm.
How important are these next couple of days? And what's more important, the transfer portal or National Signing Day, and do you have enough NIL for the transfer portal?
Yes, I think all of it's important. I think the guys that we've got right now that are committed to us, I feel good about. The transfer portal is really important, though. I think that there's only, if you've got $5 is what you got. There's the $10 ain't going to pop out the air. And so it's $5 that you have, and so you have to use that for. You have to use that in the right way. And so I think the line of scrimmage, I think the O-line and the D-line on our teams, and I think building it in a way that, there's a more physical component to this team, I think is critical. I think, this past year we had probably the most expensive and arguably the most talented receiver core in our league, and we need to be better up front on both sides of it, and so I think the portal is very critical.
Good Jackson here in the second row wraps up.
Coach, it seems like this could be an off-season with a lot of roster movement. Most of the offense is out of eligibility. At what point does your attention flip fully to next season, and what's the strategy this go-around?
Yeah, I think today's going to be. It's going to be. My girls are here, so there's still Thanksgiving break, and so probably today's. I'm going to hang out with them, and try to enjoy them a little bit, but then after that, I think it goes right to this, and whether it's. Our class retention, or it's portal hunting, and then there's discussions that we have to have on our team on hey, if someone was paid this and this was their season, right? Is this what they're worth, right? And all those things are those have been kind of ongoing, kind of building or prepping towards, and now we're at the time to have those things, and so I think that starts tomorrow. Okay, thank you, guys.